Hi, my name is Nancy White, and I'm standing in front of my office here in Rancho Santa Fe. This is the Coldwell Banker Residential Brokerage Office. I'm going to give you a brief history of the ranch. This building is called the Francisco Building. It was originally built in 1923. It is part of an office block that was also built at the same time as the Rancho Santa Fe Inn was built. A little side note, when I moved here in 1989, I remember coming into this building, which was a grocery store until the early 90s, coming in and getting a sandwich at the deli counter after walking over sawdust-covered creaky wood floors. Quite a lot of history. Things have changed. Now we're standing in front of this little bistro, the pantry. I wanted to show you this because this is the site of the first school in Rancho Santa Fe. We're standing in front of the inn right now. This was originally called La Mirada. It was the guest house for the Santa Fe Land Development Company. This is where the guests would stay when they were prospective buyers. It was built in 1923 along with the block of buildings where my office is located. A little side note, recently I interviewed one of the first residents to come here to Rancho Santa Fe. In September of 1926, Bob was 1 month old. He arrived here with his parents. They stayed here at the La Mirada, at the guest house, and his first bed was a dresser drawer in one of the bedrooms. I thought that was charming. Now, Bob went on to learn to play golf here as a kid. He did go away to college and a career, but when he came back, he and his wife moved into the same home that his parents had bought from the Wells family. The Wells family were the founders of Sturbridge Village in Massachusetts. Bob and his wife still live in that house to this day. I'm standing here behind the Union Bank building in town. When I moved here in 1989, there was a hitching post behind me. This is where people, the residents, would ride their horses into town, tie them up, go do their banking or whatever, and then get back on their horses and ride home. Really charming. Things have changed a little bit. This is one of the two big draws to Rancho Santa Fe. It goes from grades K through 8. It has the latest in technology for the student population of 750 kids. This is the trail that goes around the golf course. Beautiful bridle trails, and they are for the enjoyment of the residents here for your walking your dog, jogging, or riding your horse. We have over 60 miles of trails in the Covenant. It's really quite wonderful. This is probably the biggest attraction to the ranch. I'm standing in front of the Rancho Santa Fe Golf Course. This is a parkland course built in the 1920s by the Santa Fe Land Development Company. Bing Crosby was one of the first members here. He held his famous clam bake golf tournament here. Lots of famous pictures inside. It's a parkland course. It's got 6,900 yards from the blue tees. It is a par 72 course with a slope of 140 and a rating of 74.0. It's purported to be one of the top 100 courses in the country. A lot of the charm of Rancho Santa Fe are these older homes. This is a Spanish colonial home built in 1924. It's supposed to have been owned by the widow of Juan Osuna, who was the first governor of this area known as Rancho San Diego. We've seen the old part of Rancho Santa Fe, the historic part, and we've seen a historic home built in 1924. I want to show you the part of Rancho Santa Fe that's changed. We have newer homes, beautiful homes. Here's a perfect example of one of these newer homes, and you can see from the landscaping how the architecture melds beautifully with the landscaping to create just a wonderful, pristine environment. Okay, now we're coming into the village. Did I mention the village is 4 square blocks? It's really charming. And you can see the Lillian Rice Spanish Colonial Revival architecture on these buildings. We have banks and real estate offices, but we also have the community center, the garden club, the library, the association offices. All of these contribute to the coherence of the populace of Rancho Santa Fe. You never really know what beauty you have until you live here, and then you really appreciate it. Isn't this just magnificent? We are so fortunate to live here. Look at the views we have. We're so lucky.